Think you're about to get a weekend of peace, and then boom, someone turns your life into a full-blown courtroom drama. That's how it went down for me. One minute I'm thinking my only problem will be a leaky gutter or a squirrel chewing through my attic. Next thing I know, I'm squaring off with a suburban warlord in yoga pants fighting for the very ground under my boots. No, really, I wish I was kidding. I wish. See, for me, home isn't some cliche about where the heart is. It's the smell of old pine needles, the hush right after sunset when the wind dies and you swear you can hear the mountains breathing. My cabin isn't just a hand-me-down from Grandpa Henry. It's where my brain actually shuts up for a minute. I make my living shooting landscapes mostly for magazines that pay an exposure and the occasional check that doesn't bounce. I travel for work, but that little patch of Blue Ridge Woods is the only place I actually live. Grandpa Henry, he was the type who believed you built your peace, then guarded it like a badger. He hammered out a legal easement filed and stamped so we could always reach the cabin even after the Silver Pines development swallowed up everything around it. Nobody cared for decades. Folks thought the dirt road was public or just didn't notice. Then along comes Karen Wells, yes, her real name, and no, I'm not making it up. She lands in the HOA president's seat and suddenly peace is over. First time I meet Karen, I'm crawling through the main gate Jeep all mud-splattered and she blocks me like she's the last line of defense against alien invaders. "Do you live here?" she says, arms crossed so tight I thought her blood flow was in danger. I flash my laminated easement. She stares like it's written in Klingon, then mutters about reevaluating community boundaries. Okay, I figure she'll lose interest. Rookie mistake. Couple weeks later, I show up for a spring shoot peak bird migration. Chain across the entrance. Padlocked. Sign screaming private HOA property trespassers prosecuted. Somebody even stuck fake cameras on the trees. I should have laughed. Instead, I hiked the rest of the way mad enough to chew rocks. Next morning, I file a report with the sheriff. Morales shows up, calm, tired kind of guy who's allergic to drama but stuck living in it. We meet Karen and her rent-a-cop in a standoff at the chain. Morales points out the law easement stands. Chain comes down. She glares like she's planning my funeral. And that's when things really get nuts. See, with people like Karen, losing isn't an option. She just changes tactics. The next day she's in my house, literally. I come back from a sunrise hike and find her inside rifling through my mail, snapping pics, acting like she's on a home makeover show. "You're squatting," she tells me. "Your structure isn't approved. You need to file for conditional occupancy, or else." I actually laughed out loud, couldn't help it. "You broke into my house to accuse me of squatting." She barely blinks. "Door was unlocked," she says, like that means anything. I call Morales. He files trespass charges. Karen's face tightens, but she walks out like she owns the mountain. Morales warns me. She won't stop. Document everything. He's right. Next day, I run into Karen's drone. Yep, she's got a drone now circling my roof, scaring off birds and any lingering sense of privacy. Later, her security goons are walking the property line, snapping photos like paparazzi at a red carpet event. That's when I decide enough. I send every clip, every photo, every scrap of evidence to Morales. Sheriff's office escalates. Next time Karen sets foot on my land. Morales is there. She shows up in full drama mode, bodyguard sunglasses, folder stuffed with evidence. Morales lays it out. "Set foot here again, you're getting arrested." Karen just glares. This isn't over. And honestly, I believed her. Turns out she meant it literally. 2 days later, I hear pounding at the door hard enough to rattle the hinges. I check the peephole. Karen, red-faced, wild-eyed, looking like she's been up all night Googling how to stage a coup. I try to talk through the chain. She snaps it with a crowbar seriously, then charges in screaming about her mountain, her road, her jurisdiction. She grabs my shirt, starts yanking like she's trying to shake loose a confession. I dodge, call Morales mid-wrestle, and before I know it, Morales is cuffing her on my porch while she screeches about injustice and traitors, and I kid you not, domestic terrorists hiding in the hills. If you're wondering what it feels like to watch your own HOA president get hauled away in a patrol car, I'd say it's surreal, also a little cathartic. But the saga doesn't end there. Karen files a civil suit, emotional distress defamation, the works. The judge dismisses it as frivolous and retaliatory. Still, she's not done. Turns out she'd hired a private investigator to spy on me, submitted fake HOA board minutes to try to claim my land, even diverted funds to cover surveillance and legal research. Morales and his team raid her house, find piles of evidence, printed fakes, forged emails, voice memos, where she rehearses what to say on the news. The HOA board starts to fracture. Cynthia Glass, one of the few honest ones, confesses Karen made them sign blank sheets for later vote filling. The county launches a full investigation. The board gets suspended. Karen gets indicted on 8 counts. By the time we hit court, I'm exhausted. Joan Trigger, my lawyer, imagine a bulldog in a power suit, wipes the floor with Karen's team. She brings out everything: county land records, easement agreements, surveillance footage, board testimonies. Karen takes the stand, tries to spin her usual story about community standards, but under cross, she collapses. The judge isn't having any of it. By the end of the week, Karen's in jail, the HOA board is dissolved, and a temporary administrator is brought in. You'd think that's the end, but Karen files one more lawsuit for reputational damage. It gets tossed before it even lands. The county audit drops like a bomb. Turns out Karen ran the HOA like a petty dictatorship. Fake fines, intimidation, backyard hammock bans, even paint color policing. Samuel Ortega, the new administrator, calls a community meeting and asks me to speak. I nearly bail, but instead I stand there, scruffy, sleep-deprived, full of stories. I tell them about the land, the lies, the legacy. The room shifts. Neighbors start opening up about their own run-ins. Suddenly, it's not just my fight. When it's all said and done, Karen's convicted unlawful entry, assault, harassment, document forgery, misusing HOA funds. She gets 4 years in state prison, banned for life from holding any administrative office. Her real estate license gone. The HOA pays me civil damages first, then sues her to recover. Even now, she's leading empowerment seminars in prison. You can't make this up. The ripple effect, man, that surprised me. People from other states, old HOA members, even Cynthia's family send thanks. Someone ships me a fruit basket. The cabin. It's still there. Only now it's a little haven for conservationists and young photographers. After the trial, a nature guild proposes using the place for workshops. I agree on one condition: the land stays protected. Every spring and fall, 5 or 6 students come out, learn to listen to the woods. The mountain feels lighter, quiet, like the silence has meaning again. There's one detail I never told anyone, not even Joan. A month after the dust settled, cleaning out Grandpa's cabinet, I find a hidden envelope. Inside, a hand-drawn map, a backup easement he cut decades ago. If they ever try to stop you, use the back path. I walked it once. 3 hours, a grumpy raccoon, and I end up back home sweaty but grinning. Grandpa wasn't just building a cabin, he was building a legacy of stubborn, quiet resistance. So what's the lesson? I wish it was something warm and fuzzy. But honestly, it's this: people who crave power for its own sake. Give them an inch, and they'll try to take your soul. Stand your ground, protect your peace. Sometimes justice takes a while. Sometimes it's messy. But if you keep your receipts literal and figurative, you might just come out whole. Now let me ask you, where's the line between defending your rights and letting things go for the sake of peace? Ever had to stand up to a bully, whether it wore a suit, a uniform, or yoga pants? Drop your story below. I've got a feeling we're all fighting for our ground one way or another.
Cảm ơn các bạn đã xem video.